Hello guys, Gary here from Gaz the K's Model Works. It's been a long time since I've done a video. I suppose first of all I should give you a quick catch up on why I haven't done many videos recently. I haven't done any modelling recently, to be honest, the past couple of months. If you're a long time subscriber of me, you will maybe remember that I had a few job insecurities back a few months ago. And the old place I used to work, I decided I'd had enough of that place, and I'd had enough of doing the job. 23 years of doing car parts was enough for me. So I decided a complete career change, and I started 2 months ago, pretty much nearly 2 months ago, at a local brewery, delivering beer on a lorry. We're a two-man crew. There's about 35 of us. Work for one of the largest breweries in Cornwall, which is yeah, it's been a great job so far. It's very heavy work, very tiring. I've lost like 1.5 stone, 2 stone in weight, which is good because I needed to. But yeah, it's been very tiring. So I mean, obviously I'm coming home from work and I just haven't got the energy to do any modelling, and so it's gone a bit by the wayside, the modelling, to be honest. I haven't lost interest in it or anything like that. I've still been watching videos and commenting on your videos. I just haven't had much time to do any of my own. I have done a little bit, not enough to do a video yet, to be honest. I may do a bit today. I've got a day off today, so we'll see how that progresses, but I really haven't got enough to show at the moment. So I just thought I'd do this video, as they're quite popular at the moment, which is explaining how we got started in the hobby. I've been enjoying everybody else's videos on this subject. I think it's great. I mean, we're all very similar, but it's all great to hear everybody's backstory and, you know, basically how we got where we are, YouTube and etc. So basically, same as most people, I got started in the hobby back when I was probably I mean, the earliest part I can remember was back when I was about 4 or 5 years old. We used to go to the local village post office, and I can remember being bought by my grandparents, because I lived with my grandparents for a little bit back when I was that age. I can remember being bought these little, they're probably 1/43 scale plastic car kits. I can't quite remember the name. They were a Spanish company, I think, but they used to do like Citroens, Peugeots, Fiats, Rover. I think it was Rover. But anyway, they were like little snap together kits, and that's probably my earliest memories of model kits, if you like. I was always, as a child, I was always into Lego. I loved building Lego, so I've always liked to build stuff. So it was like a natural progression for me from Lego to go into model kits. And the first model kit I can remember having was probably when I was about 9 or 10 years old, which was my proper first glue kit. I never did the aeroplane or boat thing. I just never been into that really. And my first kit that I remember having was the Tamiya Rally Mini Cooper, the Mark 1 Mini, the early 60s Mini, which I really lashed up. I really made a mess of that kit. I can remember getting glue everywhere. I mean, it's like the old Humbrol tube glue, and I used the Humbrol tins of enamel paint. We can't get testers in the UK very easily, so Humbrol is the main paint over here. And I completely balls that kit up. The glass, I mean, I got more glue fingerprints on the glass than I can remember. I can remember hand painting the body with a brush, and there's more brush marks and dirt and everything in it. Probably enough to put me off modelling for life, to be honest, but you know, we all persevere. And I can remember getting given kits for Christmas, mostly Tamiya kits, because American car kits were not easy to get over here in the 80s. I mean, I'm going back to when I was 10 years old, which would have been sort of 86, 87, and they weren't easy to get at all. So Tamiya kits were the way to go, and a few of the old Airfix 1/32 scale car kits. So yeah, really, I sort of just bumbled by, up into my teen years. I can remember buying my first AMT kit, which was I beg your pardon, it wasn't an AMT kit, it was a Revell kit, which was the 54 Chevy panel van. I can remember it being a red van on the box with like these 80s disco graphics up the side. Again, didn't do a very good job of that. I mean, Tamiya kits, if anybody knows, they just fall together really. So I mean, if you cock up a Tamiya kit, then you're definitely going to cock up a Revell AMT kit. So yeah, I built pretty much, up until I was probably 14, 15 years old. Same old thing happened. We drive a bit later in the UK. I didn't start driving until I was 18 years old. But I got a car. I got heavily into music back then. I'm a guitar player, so I mean I was heavily back into music, and I used to go to gigs quite a lot and see bands. So I never really had time. I was always going out getting drunk. Same things that we all do. I never settled down and got married. That's just not my thing. I have got a partner, Michelle, but I never settled down and got married and all that, and had the kids thing. So that never really got in the way. So yeah, basically, I probably got back into modelling, I would say, about 2002. In 2002, I went to Florida on holiday, and I can distinctly remember going to Old Town Kissimmee and seeing a few of the old model kits that I can remember when I was a kid, the AMT kits, and thinking, oh wow, they still do these kits. And then I can remember going into Walmart in Kissimmee and being absolutely blown away that there were AMT kits there on the shelf for, I think, if I can remember rightly, they were like $6 each. And the conversion rate at the time for UK to US, excuse me, money was like half. So I mean, $6 was like £3 a kit. I mean, it was just so cheap that I could not leave them there. And I remember picking up about 8 model kits from Walmart when I was on holiday in Florida, and I brought them all back, and that was it really. Basically from sort of 22 years onwards, 22 years old onwards, I haven't really stopped building. I've improved, as as we all do. I've improved as we've gone on, and I did have a couple of gaps, years where I didn't build. I can remember that up until about 2004, 2005, I had a stash of about 60 kits, and my current partner at the time was not very tolerant to me building plastic toys, as she called it. So I sold a lot. Like a prat, I sold pretty much all the kits I had, apart from a few of the vintage ones I had, which I'll never do again. Never. It takes way too long to get these kits back again. So basically, for some couple of years after that, 2007, 8, that's when I started getting heavily back into it, and it hasn't really stopped then, to be honest. My kit stash is pretty ridiculous now. I've probably got, it's not ridiculous compared to some, but I've probably got 200 kits maybe. Vintage stuff that you can see behind, that has become a big thing for me over the past couple of years. Yes, they are vintage. Yeah, they are worth a lot of money, some of them, but most of them are rebuilders. Most of them are ones I strip the paint off and strip them down to rebuild. I can't afford to buy these kits original. Some of these kits are like $200 kits. I can't afford to pay for that, so they're not as expensive as they look. But I love doing the old vintage stuff. That really is where I'm at the moment in the hobby. YouTube, same as everybody else. I can remember trying to find a kit review on something. Trying to think. I think I just one night I just put in AMT kits and just, all of a sudden, like everybody else, I remember seeing the Dr. Cranky videos and Fast Jimmy 71, and there's a few other names that escape me now. But I remember seeing these videos and thinking, wow, there is actually people out there that actually like this hobby like I do. Because I mean, speaking to Tom White in Florida, I know his mate Dave calls UK the styrene wasteland, and it really is. We can't get anything over here. Tom helps me out big time getting stuff over to the UK so I can carry on you know, with my starring obsession. But yeah, so I mean, the community, and it built and built and built, and I've probably been on YouTube, I don't know, 4 years perhaps. I've done a handful of videos. I haven't done as many videos as some people, and but I love it. You know, it's probably like my daily ritual is to come home from work, and if I've got the energy once I've had a shower, I'll come downstairs and I'll flick through YouTube, cast it to the television and watch some videos with a beer. And yeah, that's basically it really. I mean, you know, my channel name, I know Steve at Minion, Steve Minion, he mentioned how we come about our channel name. I've got a feeling that I originally called myself Gary K 1977, which is Gary Knight as my name, and 1977 was when I was born, so that's pretty obvious. Now and then I changed it to Gaz the K's Model Works, which I always had in mind. Model Works, you know, it's like a workshop type thing. But I remember Paul Turley called himself PT Model Works or something at the time, so I didn't want to use his name, but when he changed his channel name, I changed mine. And yeah, that's been it ever since basically, guys. So keep your videos coming, I find them really interesting, and it's great to see how, you know, we all got out into the hobby, what our first kits were. And well, one thing I must mention, actually, going back to the very early days, my father, who's passed away a long time ago now, about 20 years ago, but my father built model kits. He was into the truck kits, the AMT truck kits, and I can remember, this would have been the late 70s, early 80s, he had the Lowboy low loader, and I think it probably would have been a Kenworth K123 cab over kit. And I can distinctly remember him having that kit, and also the big AMT dumper truck. I can't remember what that thing's called, but it's huge. I remember it as being a huge model. So yeah, again, that was an influence for me as well, because I remember my dad building them. So yeah, you know, it's a great hobby to be in. This is a great community, and I'm glad to be part of it. Sorry I haven't been around much recently, guys. That hopefully will change in the winter months. It quietens down a bit, but being summer at the moment, everybody's drinking the beer, and it's busy. So haven't had much time to do any modelling, but I'm still around, and you all take care. This video's getting long enough now. 12 minutes is way too long. So take care, guys. See you soon.